I'm mostly trying to avoid RPGs on this channel due to their length and my severely limited interest in turn-based combat, but this game, mercifully, doesn't suffer from the latter. The mere fact that this has real-time combat is enough for me to be interested, even beyond my weird fascination with the Dreamcast. This cover image looks decent enough at a first glance, but it starts to get strange as you scrutinize it. This guy is comically buff, which is fine, I suppose, but he has a bizarre skin tone. It's pallid to the point of looking corpse-like, which, combined with the fact that his face is so smooth and devoid of expression, ends up making him look like a mannequin. This would look better if the shadow over his face was deep enough that it was fully silhouetted and we couldn't see any facial detail. Then again, if we couldn't see his face, maybe we'd be drawn instead to his hair, which appears to have been painted onto the image after the fact instead of being part of the original render, as it does look flatter than everything else. And the lack of any ground or horizon in the background gives the impression that he's floating in the air for some reason. But the blue flame on his sword looks pretty cool. Place your bets now on whether we'll even get a blue flame sword in-game. This isn't a terrible cover, but it does make me wish it was a traditional illustration instead of a dated render. Then I saw the European cover, which is far better. It's not brilliant, but I don't have complaints, so why they felt the need to change this for stupid Americans is beyond me. Obviously there was a reason, because making a different cover costs money, which they wouldn't do without a reason. But what the fuck was it? Silver, a corrupt and sinister sorcerer, rules the land of Jara with an iron fist. He and his henchmen have abducted the village women as part of a pact with the almighty god Apocalypse. Now, only one man can put a stop to Silver and his minions. It's you, David, a promising young knight determined to save his beloved. And I'm already disappointed that it's resorted to, we need to save our woman. Standard fantasy fare, sure, but I'd prefer to see something a little less vapid. The right side of vengeance is coming. I'm not even really sure what this means. Presumably right here means correct, as in this vengeance is a justified vengeance, but that would really only fit if the synopsis was addressed to Silver himself, as in, watch your ass, bro, because vengeance is coming. But it's addressed to us, the player. From our perspective, vengeance isn't coming, it's going. We are the vengeance, right? Wield your sword, slash through opponents in real-time combat. That's the selling point for me. Interact with scores of different characters. Recruit allies, each with unique abilities. So at least it won't be like Quest 64, where I was desperate for some kind of companion so I could get some actual characterization or dialogue opportunities as I traveled, instead of just being a lone mote of nothingness drifting planktonically through a charisma vacuum. Travel through hundreds of beautiful but dangerous locations. Looks like they accidentally double-spaced after beautiful there. Marvel at vivid special effects, powerful magical spells, and mighty weaponry that you will acquire on your journey, Sereth. What more could you ask for? Did you have to make your logo quite that seizure-inducing? Also, Spiral House, which I believe is the studio that actually made the game, Infogrames was just a publisher. I don't think I know Spiral House from any other game. Ooh, lots of stock door sounds there. It's nice we start on a pre-rendered video like this. Very common at the time, but always nice to see. It's reasonably well rendered, too. And it's not horrifically compressed. I mean, it's compressed, but not as badly as the videos tend to be on, like, the PS1. We have a little more space here, since we're on a GD-ROM instead of a CD-ROM, so we have a gigabyte instead of the 650 megs on a standard CD. Although a lot of PS1 RPGs actually came on multiple discs, and this game, interestingly, is only on one, despite the fact that a gigabyte is not really hugely bigger than a CD-ROM, so it's not like they have... It's less space than, like, the 4 CDs that FF9 comes on, you know, like Legend of Dragoon, I believe, is also 4 discs, which 4 CDs is bigger than 1 GD, so... I'm kind of surprised the game fits on one disc, as few RPGs of the era did. But this video actually looks quite good. Although it's taken a ridiculously long time for something to happen. It's a lot of establishing shots. But the crescendo tells me something is about to happen. Oh my god, it was a window, not a door. What a twist. That was the most delayed candle blowout I've ever seen. Oh, okay, there was something there. I was confused what opened the window. Oh, hey, there was that stock book sound I've heard in so many things. It's like in Stone Keep and a bajillion other things. I think it's in not Wind Waker, Morrowind as the journal. I hear these stock book opening and page turn sounds in countless things, and it always stands out to me because it's such an odd thing to use a stock sound for. It's not a complex or difficult sound to obtain. You could grab any old book and just turn pages. My god, that was difficult. This video actually looks really good. And it's pretty long, too, for how not horrendously compressed it is. And the music is pretty effective here. And the sound is not horrendously low quality, which it often is in videos inside old games. They'd compress the shit out of the video, and then they would also compress the shit out of the audio. The audio here is not too bad.
As time passes, each lifetime harvests the forces of good and evil inherent in human nature. But nature is volatile. This book chronicles an age when the natural balance was disrupted, when men bowed down to oblivion and a terrifying evil was unleashed.
Ooh, nice sound on that latch.
Sought to protect the innocent.
Oh, there's that page turn again.
So for 100 decades, these chapters have remained dormant. But the story has to be told. And even now, as the first page turns, the cancer spreads once more. The light succumbed first.
This guy's good.
Cloaked the distinctive figure of a twisted man. Souls that were not seduced by his power were bridled with pain until their spirits broke.
Are we sure he's evil?
A testament to the pain that he consumed. Even his blood curdled as it seeped through his hollow veins, keeping
dramatic lightning bolt.
But its beat remained strong and constant, even as his hands tightened round his wife's neck. Slowly, he squeezed the life from her fragile body. She had dared to crave intimacy. And
that
after
bitch.
Years of chilling indifference, she'd finally turned to one she thought could save her.
A vibrator?
Nemesis had been her husband's loathed enemy.
Weirdly apropos name there.
Tragically, Silver witnessed their infidelity, sealing both their fates. Silver had savored his wife's pain, knowing that Nemesis would be compelled to exact revenge. He was not disappointed. Nemesis saturated his soul with vengeance and planned Silver's demise. But it was Reuben, an acclaimed artist, who finally offered Nemesis ultimate retribution. He created an exhibition of paintings depicting Silver's life. His rival's vanity assured his attendance at the opening. Reuben soiled each canvas until he required only one...
The word choice here is really nice. Nemesis saturated his heart with vengeance. Reuben soiled the canvas. It's good shit. I have to say, the rendering of the characters isn't nearly as nice as the rendering of the environments and objects. And, ooh, that running animation was weirdly unnaturally slow. And he got comically evaporated. You're not even going to try to run? I mean, it probably wouldn't work, but you may as well give it a shot. Oh, they're... Oh, I guess he hadn't noticed. Oh, good. Okay. He can live. Yeah, it's like they're rendering the character models here the way you would in real-time graphics. Maybe it was an attempt to make the pre-rendered sort of match the in-game better. Because that is an issue with doing really nice pre-rendered scenes in games, is it always makes the cut to gameplay jarring as fuck. Because it's rendered at so much lower level. Ooh, how graphic. Because like the poly count on these character models is weirdly low for something pre-rendered. So maybe it was done deliberately to make it closer to in-game, which is not a... Oh wow. I didn't expect it to just get totally punked out in one hit like that. But that's not a bad decision to try to make it match the gameplay better, I guess. But the environments are rendered at very high levels, so it doesn't quite match. Oh, this is great. I'm going to stop here because this shot looked weird to me. I could tell something was wrong with it, but embarrassingly, I had to watch it several times before I realized, wait, the lens flare, that starburst around the light, actually goes behind objects in the scene, which makes no sense. This flare exists two-dimensionally inside the camera, not in 3D space in front of the camera. So there's no way anything can be between it and the camera. But here, they've rendered it as being a physical structure attached to the light source and moving with it through 3D space. Just to make this completely unambiguous, here's a flashlight causing a flare. If I then move it farther away from the camera than this book, the flare does not disappear behind it or change at all, because it's not a plane that has passed the book. It exists inside the lens, not in the scene. Of course, if I move the light itself behind the book, the flare goes away, but aside from outright occlusion of the light source, which is in 3D space, the flare is completely unaffected by depth, because it has no depth. And at the end of the shot, where the central light source itself actually is fully occluded, the starburst and even the standard flare elements on the other side of the screen remain, even though the light is now no longer entering the camera lens to cause a flare in the first place. Oh my god, he looks so evil. I think you're just destined to be evil when you look like that. Because it's not like you pick what you look like. You just look like what you look like, so it's weird when somebody just looks that evil. Anyway, we have a nice looking menu here. Nice shimmering title there. It's nice sharply rendered. Nice dragony sigil in the background. Fantastic. Now see the music here on the main menu. Yeah, the music here on the main menu is incredibly low quality. It's like very low sampling rate or just massively compressed. It's missing all of its high frequencies. Yeah, that sounds horrible. But what it does sound like actually is I'm gonna guess this and then we'll check the credits to see if I'm right, because they might say it in the credits. That sounds to me like the sample library Symphony of Voices from Spectrasonics, which was in basically every game ever made in the early 2000s. Notably, it's used in like Halo 2, it's in, I'm pretty sure it was in Red Faction, just like almost every game of this era had Symphony of Voices in it, and that sounds like it to me, but I can't say that for sure until we check the credits and see if it's actually in there. Because sometimes they say, like, they list libraries used. Boom! Called that one. Not that it's hard to recognize, but still. Anyway, let's go to options here. Preferences, item descriptions, high menu pause. I think weapon auto switch is the work of Satan, particularly if we're talking like first-person shooters. This isn't a shooter, so it might behave a little differently, but I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off. Dialogue, speech, text and speech or text. Let's do text and speech. In case I talk over it, there will be text on screen. Sound. Now here's where I'm going to turn this down a bit, because unfortunately the way I'm recording this is... So I'm recording the VGA output on the Dreamcast, but I don't actually have a way of capturing VGA directly. So I'm using, nor do I have a high quality method of converting VGA to something I can record like HDMI. Instead, what I'm using is a really cheap, really shitty plug and play solution where it's just like an HDMI dongle basically that you plug directly into the Dreamcast's port. So you don't have to use like a VGA box and then convert that VGA to HDMI. This is just like an all-in-one plug and play solution, and it gets the job done, but it's not great. The first thing you'll note is that it tends to blow out the highlights. It comes out too bright. And so everything bright will be a little bit too bright and slightly clipped. And unfortunately, there's really nothing I can do about that. It's just the way, we're just gonna have to accept that that's the way this was recorded. I don't have a better method of recording at the moment. And the other issue it has is the audio circuitry in it is terrible, because the audio circuitry in all cheap devices is, because it's an easy way, it's a good place to cut corners because your average idiot doesn't notice. But it floods it with horrible buzz, which I'm going to repair, so you won't hear that in these recordings, but it was originally there. But the other issue is the audio comes out too hot and tends to clip. So I'm going to turn these down. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to turn these down a few clicks. Let's just turn each one down 4 clicks and see if that's enough to prevent it from clipping. The background music on the menu here is really quiet, but that opening scene was actually pretty loud and did clip. So by turning the output of the game down, hopefully I can prevent that shitty adapter from clipping. So I'm kind of hosed in terms of audio, but I'm willing to accept it because the audio quality in games of this era tends to be very low anyway. Let's go ahead and start. Let's see how quickly we get into it. Looks quite sharp and clear. The background's very high quality.
Be silent for Lord Fuge!
Oh, I guess I have to hit a button to advance it.
It is decreed that all women of childbearing age will be taken before the Emperor Silver, so that he may choose a new wife.
Wow, this guy sounds so evil.
All woman found impeding this order will be charged with treason and sentenced to immediate execution.
Wow.
You abuse your power. This is a violation of our rights.
Why even try, Duke? Like, I don't know who you are, but like... the most evil man in the world shows up, dual-wielding giant swords, and says, "Obey or we'll kill you." I don't think telling him it's a violation of your rights is gonna get you fucking anywhere. I don't think he cares. He might be slightly evil.
What right?
Oh, yes, he
You
is.
belong to the Emperor. He will do as he pleases. Guards, seize the women.
Is that Mr. Krabs? Whose name I can never remember. Clancy Brown, I think? Wait, did he just slash that woman but not hurt her?
No! Not her!
Oh, God.
Be patient, William. Our time will come.
Was that not a fatal blow?
I trust no one else has a problem, because I've indulged your whining long enough. Guards, you have your orders. Move the women to the galleon now.
The bird is flying impossibly slowly at the top of the screen there.
We'll search the outskirts of town and ensure that no one attempts to evade their duty.
Well, I'm already a little annoyed by how transparently evil the bad guy is. I mean, like excessively so. Oh, these backgrounds look quite nice. It's incredibly sharp and clear. Like, for 640 by 480, this looks really good. Helps that the backgrounds are clearly heavily anti-aliased, because of course they're pre-rendered. Because the character models have pretty obvious aliasing on them.
You're late. We need to practice. You need to practice.
Why is all the dialogue coming out the right?
Are you in such a hurry to be beaten?
Or towards the right, not far right, but a little bit.
Yes. Unfortunately, I'm
Look at his fuck.
but at least my student has confidence.
Look at his character portrait.
Go into the house and get your blade. Amaze me with your swordsmanship.
Amaze me. Oh, it looks like he looks so angry in his character portrait, and yet the way he's talking, he actually sounds like a pretty jovial fellow. Like, amaze me with your swordsmanship. You know, like he seems like a friendly enough dude, but His character portrait looks like he wants to just strangle me with my own guts. Or he has the worst case of projectile diarrhea that's ever been recorded. Alright, we're able to move. Game runs at a glorious 60 FPS. Very smooth. That makes sense because the background is clearly not running in real time. So the only things being rendered in real time here are, of course, Granddad and I. And we're not made of that many polygons. He said to go inside. So we're doing the, as was common with RPGs at the time,
I didn't hear you get
pre-rendered backgrounds.
I wanted to practice with grandfather, but you look so peaceful, I didn't want to wake you.
Have you eaten? You'll need to keep healthy to have any chance of beating him.
Why do I sound kind of depressed? Can I talk to you? Well, there's a mouth icon that's actually kind of gross.
Have you seen my sword?
Zip.
Look in the chest. I'm sure you left it there last time.
So we got an apple that was just sitting on the floor for some reason. But yeah, we're clearly doing that. Ooh, and because this is a wide-angle shot, they've had to distort the real-time character models here. So we're like super stretched on the edge of the screen here because this is a really wide-angle lens. So then we stretch much less here. Now that is accurate to the way a wide-angle lens works, but it's kind of weird to do in a game because it also makes my movement not quite what you'd expect because we're at such a strangely stretched angle. But we're doing the method that was quite popular at the time, which for RPGs, and survival horror did it as well, of pre-rendered backgrounds, real-time character models projected on top of pre-rendered backgrounds, where the background here is not being calculated by the Dreamcast, because that's far beyond the graphics the Dreamcast could crank out. So that was, it's just displaying an image file. The technique was pioneered by Alone in the Dark in like 1992, but it was really popularized by Resident Evil and Final Fantasy VII are like the kind of the most highest profile examples from the era. And FF8 did it as well, FF9 did it as well, a whole bunch of other stuff. Resident Evil 2 and 3 kept it. Code Veronica finally went real time, but it was a very common technique at the time because it allowed you to render these very high quality backgrounds that look really, really nice, far, far better than real-time graphics possibly could. But it does have the limitation, so we got a sword and a shield, it does have the limitation that it means the camera never moves. It's like we're just staring at this completely static shot because it's a still image. Like it's not rendering this environment, so we can't pan the camera. We can't go into first person look mode and examine any of these things closely. We just have this static image. And it was like this trade-off that a lot of games did of we get really nice backgrounds, but it ends up making the game really weirdly static. And everything takes place from these really wide shots. Like here we're talking to Granddad, and instead of getting a nice close-up where we come out the door, we get a cinematic shot of like David coming out the door, and then we cut to Granddad saying, "We're wasting time, where's your sword?" And we cut back to David for him to say whatever he says next. Oh, nothing, I guess. So like instead of having sort of reverse shot of a conversation or any sort of cinematic framing, just like everything takes place in these massive wide shots where the characters are tiny on screen. And it does make the games incredibly uncinematic. It's a problem I have with like the RPGs of the era. I actually don't like that part of, for example, the Final Fantasy games at the time. Everything being in a flat wide shot it's weirdly dull. It's kind of stultifying, even if the background looks really nice. More conventional camera work would be more interesting, where we get close-ups and two shots, and we can do different camera angles to keep the scene interesting instead of everything playing out in this massive master shot. It's so uncinematic. But the trade-off is that the background can look really, really nice, which it does here. This house is a really interesting design. It's got all these weird curves to it. It's kind of blobby and tiered and has these arches here for like these legs. The doorway is this weird triangle, but it's recessed. There's like this rim around it, so it casts sort of a side shadow right here. It looks great. And it's not a completely static still image because there is some water moving here, so there's at least a few frames of animation on this still image, and it's bigger than the screen, so we can pan across it like this, which of course the Final Fantasy games did that as well, but to me it's still just not nearly as nice as being able to move the camera around. Whereas something like Ocarina of Time, sure, the graphics in that are nowhere near the level of this background, but it just seems so much more immersive to me to be able to move through the environment freely and turn the camera, and especially to go into first-person look mode and examine things more closely. Like, I would love to go into first person and examine this sort of flanged railing on this bridge. Like, this bridge looks cool. Instead of just being a little wooden arch, it has this, like, cut steel side panels, which have, like, these weird, kind of sinister-looking horns on it. It's kind of a mean-looking bridge for it being our tranquil home, but it's a nice detail. But there's no way for me to look at it, because it's just a still image. I can't view it from a closer perspective. So, clearly Granddad wants us to fight him, but I don't actually know how. So Y does nothing, A punches, B opens the menu. Okay, and then X does nothing. Oh, L lets me scroll the screen without moving and seems to highlight exits, because there's like a door there, but it's got the no sign on it, so I'm assuming it's because I'm not allowed to leave. R does not appear to do anything. Oh, actually no. R makes the stick behave as attack, because if I just hit A, he punches, but if I hold the right trigger, then forward on the stick becomes a forward attack. Actually, no, it's just attack the direction I'm tilting the stick. But if I hit right, he'll like turn right and attack right. If I hit left, he'll turn left and attack left. Okay, but anyway, B opens this menu, which is interesting. I'm assuming this is the pie menu. Well, yeah, it says pie menu, pause up top. So this does pause the game. They're calling it a pie menu, but what this is what we would today call a radial menu. Which is interesting. I don't think radial menus were common at this time. That's SP, which I'm assuming means special, like special attacks. The star here is presumably magic, so that's going to be empty. The food menu has the apple we picked up in it. Special is empty. Hand is apparently weapon. We have short sword. The spears are... Oh, those are probably arrows. This might be projectiles. That's shields. Okay, wooden shield. We now have that equipped, and the short sword. Glorious. We're equipped.
Now we can begin.
Yes.
Hold your sword ready and never take your eyes off your opponent. We'll start.
I'm looking completely the wrong way.
We'll ease you into combat.
Okay.
Now you try.
Press the A button. Okay.
I see I'll have to provide you with more of a challenge.
Oh my god, did you really think pressing A would be too much for me?
Next, we should try the lunge. When performed well, this move is deadly.
Aren't they all? Ooh, it's got some pizzazz to it. You don't just stab, you sort of like do this squat thrust sort of thing. Nice. While holding the right trigger, press the thumb pad. Ah, yes, okay.
A powerful movement. You learn quickly.
This voice actor is great.
Now, a swipe requires a little more skill than a lunge.
It does? The lunge actually looked like it's had such poise to it, it would be kind of difficult to do.
Hard to your right, like this.
You gotta back up to reset. Alright. Swipe right. Hold the right trigger and move the thumb pad right. Okay.
Very elegant. I hope your opponents appreciate such artistry.
They'll have no choice. It'll be the last thing they ever see.
Oh my god. Such a badass.
Always consider your assailant's position. This will help determine whether you perform the right swipe
Or the left.
or readjust your stance and swipe left.
Uh-huh. Remember your directions, kids.
One-on-one combat is rare. It's more likely that you'll face several assailants at any one time. So you have to be prepared for anything. And this move is vital.
I'm assuming a spin attack. Oh, no, it's a turnaround.
Very few of your opponents will have any pride and would rather leap at you from behind than face you directly.
Probably because that's the sensible thing to do. Fuck pride and honor. You just gotta kill the other guy. Alright.
Try again.
No, I hit...
I wager that if you could perfect this move, you could challenge most men.
Okay, we have a problem here already, which is I hit A to close the dialogue menu, which I have to do. You have to hit A to close this. But I didn't do it quite fast enough, so he swung, even though I didn't press A twice. There we go.
Good. Your offensive training is complete.
You are truly offensive, young man.
Your shield is invaluable when countering attacks. Use it well.
Whilst holding down the right trigger button. It's not a button, it's a trigger. Press and hold the B button to shield the oncoming attack. Ah, yes.
You defend yourself well. Your training...
It takes an enormous amount of skill to hold a piece of wood in front of yourself like that. Well done.
Get ready
And yeah,
to fight.
closing the text screen, I keep swinging.
How good I am.
Maybe I can close it with B? Oh, I can. Oh, shit. Die, Gramps.
Who's winning?
I am.
Of course I am. I'm the protagonist and I have coiffed hair.
I haven't warmed up yet. You're young. It just takes me...
What do you mean you haven't warmed up? You were out here with swinging your sword around before I even equipped mine.
Then I'll leave you be. Besides, I have the washing to do.
Yeah, yes. She's just gonna walk right past two guys beating the shit out of each other with sharp blades. Yeah, try not to get caught in the crossfire. It would be kind of tragic. There doesn't seem to be a way to lock onto him, unless I kind of... I guess I kind of automatically do, or maybe that's what determines whether I swing right or left, is it sort of arcs me that direction.
Fuge.
Oh, Granddad knows this guy.
Still your father's lapdog.
Don't you ever know? I should have dealt with you years ago. You're fortunate that I have more important matters to deal with. Your Emperor Silver requires a new wife. You may even choose this delicate creature.
I don't know why he put delicate in quotes there.
And then again, if my father isn't interested, I may take her for myself.
Oh my god, you
I
bastard.
would kill you first.
Steady, lad.
You get your ass handed to you, because there's like way more of them.
To the old man, your wife is such beauty. That gains so little pleasure from destroying.
Wow, this guy is so evil. It's, I mean, again, kind of annoyingly one-dimensional, but it works. It's fine. And the voice actor's trying really hard, so...
Take her away.
Yes, my liege.
I love you, David.
How touching. Women are far too weak.
Oh my god.
Then the men who prey on them must be cowards.
Actually, that's a legitimately quality retort from David there.
Why are you in such a hurry to die? Guards, stay here and see that they get their wish.
Okay, well at least it's only two of them. Oh, we have on-screen damage numbers. Okay. Which seem to be changing color as they get closer to death. Yeah, because they're getting darker red as they take more damage. So you can tell how close they are to dead that way. I guess we just go after them. Come on, Granddad. There's no way we can possibly save her, or this game would kind of just end immediately, so... And Fuge is just going to send more lackeys after us instead of doing anything himself. Oh, my health bar seems to have multiple tiers. Oh, Jesus. Granddad just blew that guy into chunks. Wow. Way to go, Granddad. And yeah, the music is really low quality here. So I got 50 gold and another wooden shield. Yeah, I noticed, I think the purple bar under my health, because the health is clearly multi-tier, because it was green, but rather than being empty underneath like black, it's actually turning yellow, so it must drain multiple times, which is kind of odd. But the purple, I'm assuming, is the quality of my shield, because it looked like, I think in my peripheral vision, that went down when I took a hit. And in the pie menu here, you can see the circle around the shield is diminished a bit. I didn't look at the rest of these, so the backpack here has... Oh, I guess stats. We're level 1, we have 96 hit points, 37 magic, 46 dexterity, or 46 strength, and 34 dexterity. Wooden shield gives 40 defense. Apparently we don't have a defense rating separately from the shield. Oh no, we have armor class. Okay, armor class 11, wisdom 25, constitution 38, ranged skill 31. So yeah, that menu must be projectiles. So what is this? That must be potions, I think. Those look like bottles. And then I'm guessing keys. I know Fuge went the other way, but I'm gonna check if I can go through here. No, it doesn't go anywhere. I know I shouldn't be dicking around because, like, you know, diegetically we should be chasing after him, and I'm kind of not, but it's fine. I'm sure it's not time sensitive. This music isn't bad, but it's really low quality.
There they are. Come on, after them.
Ooh, the frame rate dropping here. Oh, yeah, some characters got off screen and it's picked up speed. Which is weird, the character models aren't that high quality. So, it's weird the frame rate's really not great here. I can't check in these buildings. Yeah, some people running around, not really that concerned that there's like horrible fighting in the streets. Might want to get out of the way, dude. I don't know if I can accidentally hit them. I doubt it. Ooh, critical. I'm assuming the blue background on the text does mean critical hit. Another shield. I'm gonna eat the apple. Ooh, 20 HP. Hey, that's not bad. Okay, I was expecting it to be like 5 or something. Basically useless. That's one of those things. In RPGs, food usually is useless relative to like potions.
Too late.
Of course we're too late. It's the opening of the game.
This time, but we will get her back.
Ooh. That bit in the music was actually basically the same melody as played in the action music, but played sad instead. To use the same motif in a different context was actually kind of nice. And I like that the water is animated in the background there.
They've taken our daughter.
We have the smoke coming out of the chimneys.
Help us. We're old and can offer you little, but
Oh, George's portrait there is amazing. That is a quality old man portrait. But yeah, I like the smoke coming out of the chimneys, the animated water. It's helping to alleviate the static-ness of the background, at least a little, but I still don't like the static backgrounds technique. I would rather have inferior graphics and a movable camera.
Don't worry. We'll help you all we can.
Did you see or hear anything that may be useful? Do you know where they're headed?
all the women were forced in the galleon.
Yeah, I saw that.
Fuge and some of his guards got into a smaller vessel.
Didn't see that.
Both ships sailed off in different directions.
And again, all the dialogue is panned to the right.
I don't know where either one is bound, sorry.
Where are all the villagers? Or all the angry husbands?
Some of the men have already banded together.
Ooh, that didn't take long.
Their weapons and left in the direction of Haven.
You mean the guards didn't confiscate their weapons? Or do you just mean like pitchforks and shit?
Will she be all right? They won't hurt her, will they? She's all we've got. I couldn't cope if they...
She'll be all right, love. She'll be all right. Come on. I'll take you home.
Oh god, that's so awkward when I hit. I was just gonna say that was actually a reasonably well read, it was a quite well read last line there. And then it was horribly undercut by the awkwardness of me hitting A to close the text box, meaning I swung my sword at the nice old couple. I'm gonna get in the habit of hitting B to close text boxes, because if every conversation ends with me like attacking the person I'm talking to, that's a little fourth wall breaking, you know? So, we're not off to a great start here. We're off to an okay start here. I really, like I mentioned when I was reading the back of the case, I don't like that our inciting incident is, oh no, we have to save our woman, because that's just so fucking tired. It's more acceptable in a game where the plot is basically just a formality, where it's basically just an excuse to have a game or to have something to do. Like in the original Super Mario Brothers, it's, yeah, we're supposed to go save Princess Peach, or Toadstool as she was called at the time, because she's kidnapped by Bowser. Yes, it's tired and lame, but you're not playing Mario for the plot. You're playing it because it's a really, really fun game. So it's a little more excusable there, or like a shooter. A really generic story in a shooter is okay, because it's really just an excuse to give you things to shoot. Obviously, it would be nice if you had things to shoot and a story that didn't suck, but it's, again, more acceptable there. In an RPG that's presumably going to be fairly narrative-heavy and involve lots of dialogue, I'd rather have something a little more inspired, a little less standard than just, oh no, they kidnapped my woman, I need to go save her. I don't like it. It works, but I don't like it. I feel like it wouldn't have been that hard for the developers to come up with something a little more compelling. Although, It's possible they're going to do a subversion. I'm not going to hold my breath, but they might do a subversion of this where it's not like the point of the whole game to go get our wife back, to get Jennifer. It might be we get her back fairly early in the game, and then she ends up actually being a useful companion, and the game kind of goes on from there. I don't know. I'm hoping it's more that than the whole game is just to save her and we'll get her at the end, and she literally is just a human MacGuffin, because I don't like that. But, so we're off to a mediocre start. I'm okay, but I don't love it. I do like that the combat's real time. It's a little weird, this holding the right trigger and then the stick is your direction of attack. It's kind of novel, but I fucking love that it's real time. I don't like turn-based. I don't despise turn-based, but my patience for it is very, very limited. It's not particularly detailed real-time combat, because we really only have, at the moment at least, 4 attacks. We have a stab, we have a slash left and right, and we have the turn around and attack thing. And then hammering A is just a chop. So it's sort of like a button mashing hack and slash. That boat animation down there has it's smoother than I expected. It has more frames than I would expect. It's not a lot of frames because it is just bobbing back and forth, but it's not very choppy for it being just cycling frames on a static background. I don't think I can talk to any of these people though. I am noticing as well, we don't have music playing at all times, which is relatively unusual at this point in games. A lot of games just play music non-stop, as opposed to at key moments or when something's actually happening. And I like that. I actually prefer this system, where when nothing's happening, we don't necessarily have to have music playing. So the music serves more of a specific purpose rather than just always being there looping. So we just have like the ambient water sounds here. Like in FF7, there's always music. There's a few like key story moments where they stop it for dramatic effect, but in general gameplay, the music never ever stops. It just, whatever music is playing loops indefinitely. And I think that undercuts its usefulness, or it undercuts its effectiveness relative to punctuating specific moments with it. The reason though, of course, is that in FF7, there basically is no sound. When you're on the overworld view, there's like no ambient sound really. I think there's a couple spots that do, but the vast majority of the game, the only sound is the music. There's not like wind and water and birds and like trees rustling or, you know, ambient sounds. So like if the music wasn't playing, it would just be dead silence. Here, at least we have some ambient sound. Although we don't have foley for running around. I don't have footsteps or my armor clattering. So that's kind of disappointing, but we do have ambient sound. So this floating fucker.
I am the Chronicler. I shall record your adventures in my book of legends. Tell me of your deeds.
Ah, yes. Now we know what the save point looks like, which unfortunately means this is not a game where we can save wherever we want. So apparently this guy's just going to appear in fixed locations, which means you can't just like save from the pause screen, which I always prefer. It looks like I can't pick which slot I'm using. It just defaulted to slot 1, because I actually do have 2 VMUs in my controller right now, and I was going to alternate between them, which is what I did in Dragon Riders, for safety, you know, in case one of them fails or something, because they're over 20 years old. They're 25 years old. But I guess I can't use slot B. So I'm still going to alternate save files, because that's just a good idea in an RPG, in case you fuck yourself. But I have to name it something, and I never know what to name a save file, so generally I go with prick. I could pull out an old classic, Volvor or Slutula. Let's just go with good old-fashioned prick. Do not turn power off. Yeah, I'm gonna do a John Woo dive across the room and hit the power button. I don't know why they always say that. I know they have to, but like, my god. It would take me longer to get over there to hit the button than it takes to save, especially because I have to get like around my microphone here. I don't even actually know where to go at this point. Do I go back to my house, or was there a different way off of the screen over here? No, I can't pan the screen right, so I didn't know if like this here was an exit. No, there's some kids slingshotting stones into the water because they have nothing better to do. Which makes sense, TikTok hasn't been invented yet. So I guess I'm just gonna head back home and lament the fact that my wife has been stolen. Because it's not like women are capable of defending themselves. Fuck no. Oh look, more people to chop up. Oh, actually, I think my generic chop does more damage. Or maybe that's just Granddad. I think Granddad hits harder. Oh no, yeah, my regular chop does 4, where a slash does 3. Weird. Oh, I got a health potion. That's nice. So that'll be there. Okay. Doesn't give a description though of how much. Oh no, this list did though, didn't it? Yeah, plus 20 health potion, but it doesn't say plus 20 the way an apple does, or like a plus whatever it was. So maybe it's proportional rather than a fixed number. It might be a percentage. Oh, I can go this way now, according to L. In this super wide static shot. Ugh. We're always so small in frame. Like, look at this. We're so small in frame. We're made of like, what are we? Like 20 pixels high? Okay, so that was actually a thing I was going to check, was if the block is auto-facing. Because some games, if you have your shield up, you'll just turn to face whatever hits you. So like if you have your shield up and somebody hits you from behind, you'll just rotate to face them. This one doesn't do that. You do actually have to be facing the person for the shield to work, which is weird because I can't actually rotate while I have the shield up. I just hold it up in the direction I'm facing, but I then can't move. Specifically because to put the shield up, I have to be holding the right trigger. And if I'm holding the right trigger, the stick no longer moves me around. So there's no way to rotate while holding the shield. Oh, okay. He turns to face the nearest enemy when you first raise the shield, because if I turned away and did it, he rotated around himself. I would prefer it, like, here. Like, so I have to hold the right trigger and hold B to bring up the shield. In this mode, I would love the stick to rotate me in place like a turret, and it doesn't. It doesn't do anything. Unless I lower the shield, at which point it's now attack. Although it seems to queue up. So if I hold B, raise the shield. If I just tilt right, like a slash right, nothing happens because my shield is up. But when I lower the shield, he slashes right. So you can actually store an attack. Since it's queued up, it just happens immediately. Okay, so this, if I'm holding left trigger to scroll the screen like this, it shows doors, but it also shows people you can talk to. So like that guy's talkable, but the other 3 I guess aren't. They just wander around. Hello, sir.
Please, I have 8 children to support and very little money, but I'm a proud man, and my only request is that you look at me good.
Okay, that was a pretty good line read, I guess, in a goofy sort of way. Sure. His name is Fat Trader. Couldn't even give him a generic name like Tom. He kind of looks like a Tom, or yeah, just like a generic name. Come on. So an apple is 5 gold. A carrot is 10, although I don't know if... I'm assuming that means it gives more health, but it doesn't tell me here how much it does. Bread is 15, which I'm assuming means it's better, and cheese is 20. Wow, 20 pieces of gold for a slice of cheese. What the fuck is this economy? But sure, I'll buy some bread. And 2 more apples. Yes.
You've got taste. See you again.
Damn right I've got taste, you fat traitor. Fantastic. So do I now leave? Okay, that is an exit, even though when I was holding L, it didn't show as one. Or I guess because it had the talk icon instead. Can I cycle through? Oh, okay. I get it. It only shows one icon at a time, but while you're holding L, R then cycles through each of the things on screen that's usable. Like the Chronicler here.
Tell me of your deeds, adventurer, so that I may record them in my book of legends.
Your beard is kind of amazing, sir. I don't know why I'm saving again, but sure. Oh, it's gonna let me type in a thing every time? Which means every time I save, I have to scroll down to the checkmark, instead of just hitting A. And no, start does not jump you to the checkmark. I tried, because that would make sense. Then he disappears, meaning I guess you can't save more than once at the same location. Presumably, if I left the screen and came back, he would be there again, but this sign is not readable, sadly. But yeah, these backgrounds look quite nice, quality-wise. They don't have like horrible blocking artifacts on them from like horrible compression.
Haven's Gates. They were built by an ancient race to protect their city from evil. Legends say only the pure of heart may enter.
Is thinking about titties gonna be a problem?
Well, there's only one way to find out if that's true.
Okay. You first. Oh, wow, really?
Come on, lad. If a wicked old man like me can get through, you'll have no...
But what if my hatred for Silver betrays me?
David, he's taken your wife. Your anger is
Ooh,
justified.
you're damn right it is, but that's not actually the message I would have expected there.
You're right.
Oh, Jesus. I guess that's a yes.
You, after them.
But, sir... Oh, Jesus.
He must have known he would die.
Wow. I love... I love the 90s style blowing into chunks. You saw that a lot in, like, shooters of the time, but that's a thing games don't do anymore, I guess because it's inherently comical. You just... when characters just explode into bloody chunks and bounce around. It is kind of inherently comical, and so I think games stopped doing it for that reason as they started taking themselves more seriously, particularly shooters.
Yes, but the punishment for refusing an order would have been far less merciful.
Well, at least the way he died was instantaneous, I suppose. And they're smart enough to leave. Okay. Or, no, I'm gonna have an apple. That can't be used, that can. Alright. So yeah, these backgrounds here, they're reasonably high quality. I mean, there's some bit depth falling apart on the green here, on the grass here. There's some like hard edges of like the quantization steps. But for the most part, the backgrounds, they don't look horribly compressed. There's some banding in the sky up there. But compared to something like the backgrounds in like a PS1 RPG, they're like crazy compressed. These look really sharp and clear, which is weird to me because, as I was saying earlier, this game's only on one disc, which most PlayStation RPGs weren't. At least the ones with the pre-rendered backgrounds and stuff aren't. Certainly the Final Fantasy stuff were on multiple discs because these image files take up a fair bit of space. Because like a high-quality image file like this that's the size of the whole screen, especially if it's scrollable and it's bigger than the screen, that's a much bigger image file than like a super low-res pixelated texture that can then be tiled across a large surface. So like, these image files should be taking up a fair bit of space on the disk, and especially because they're not that compressed, they look pretty damn good, for the era, of course. I'm amazed this game's on one disc, especially when you add to that the fact that there's voice acting. Apparently every line in this game is voiced, which in the Final Fantasy games they're not. In like FF9, despite it being on 4 discs, all the lines are just text. So here, we have high-quality pre-rendered backgrounds and voice acting, and it's only one disc. I'm really surprised. They've apparently done... Well, there's 2 possibilities here. Either they've done a very good job of compressing things, or maybe this game's just not actually that long, which frankly I would be okay with, because RPGs are generally far too long. Maybe there aren't that many locations in this game, and so there's fewer background images than there are in like a Final Fantasy. Oh, apparently there's a monster in there.
Not putting one foot back in there, not unless I can see if it's likely to get bitten off.
Don't worry. I doubt any beast would be depraved enough to eat your feet.
Nevertheless, it wouldn't be wise to enter, not until we see what lives in there.
I'm assuming that means I need like a torch or something? Okay. So this way it is.
This place is too quiet. Did you hear that?
First it's too quiet, now it's noises that worry you.
Oh my God.
Just a couple of larks, nothing to worry about.
Strange sounding larks.
Maybe it's a trap.
So I'm no authority on the call of that particular breed.
Yeah, no shit. See this, we already have... Okay, well, I guess it was a really obvious ambush.
Come on, let's take him.
I don't think that would be wise. We'd be slashed to pieces.
I have plenty of healing items, it's fine.
You would do well to listen to the old man.
Oh, hey, it's the guy that told the bad guy, you can't do that because that's a violation of our rights that you don't care about.
Show yourself. Only a coward would hide behind his men.
See, we have the problem that static backgrounds always give, which is there's no editing.
Coward when my men surround him.
See, this is one of the things that totally kills the Final Fantasies of this era for me. Even though I love FF7, it's actually one of my favorite games. One of the elements of it that annoys the piss out of me and has aged spectacularly poorly is that the static backgrounds, because you can't move the camera, you can't condense time the way you tend to do in movies. See, in movies, we skip a lot of time by cutting to a new angle. So like, when a person walks into the scene, we don't watch them walk into the scene, we cut to a new camera angle where they're now there. You don't have to watch every step they take from the front door to where the conversation is happening. But you disguise that jump in time by switching camera angles, so it's not just a straight jump cut. Here, because the camera angle never changes because the background is static, we can't edit. And so when David and Granddad walked over here to these bushes to check out the birds, we watched every single step they take while the camera just pans across this master shot. And then when the Duke walked into frame, we can't just cut to him there and then, cut to a shot of him appearing and then cut to a shot of him here. We instead had to watch every single step he takes as he walks over. And literally nothing is happening other than we're just watching him walk over. But this lack of editing means there's a lot of dead air. To demonstrate what I'm talking about, imagine I want to show myself putting this game into my Dreamcast. The conventional way to shoot that would be to show a shot of me taking it off the shelf, and then just cut to a shot of it being put in the console. All the in-betweens of me opening the case, taking out the disc, putting the case back on the shelf, and then walking across the room are completely extraneous. You don't need to see them to comprehend what's happening, so removing them with the edit makes perfect sense. If we were instead relegated to a single wide shot with no editing or other angles, we can no longer abbreviate time with a cut, so we have to watch all of that stuff in between. Instead of cutting to the point, you watch me walk into frame, crouch down by the shelf, grab the case, open it, remove the disc, close the case, set it back on the shelf, walk all the way across the room, crouch down by the console, and then put it in. But despite taking far longer, this version communicates no additional information. Now in this particular example, it kinda does, because it gives you a look at this room, which I don't normally show in these videos, and my clusterfuck of prints is highly unusual, especially since it's mostly spiders, which most people hate. But even in that case, it's interesting because the setting is novel to you, not because this is the better way to film it. If you already knew what this room looks like, or had already seen it in an establishing shot earlier, or if it was just a boring room, that novelty wouldn't be there. The key thing is that the purpose of this sequence is to show me putting the game in the Dreamcast, and this version of doing it takes far longer. It says the same thing in more time, which makes it a waste of time. And it's also cinematically less interesting because it's one unchanging shot that's also weirdly distant and has a lot of wide-angle distortion. This is the problem I have with pre-rendered backgrounds. That you aren't cutting between different angles means you don't get to compress time as much, so you end up with all the pointless fluff, because everything plays out unbroken in a massive, boring wide shot. And the difference may only be a few seconds each time, but this quickly compounds over the course of the game. FF7 would be substantially shorter if it was shot and edited conventionally, instead of being perpetually burdened with interstitial crap. And we have the same thing happening in Silver. It's temporally inefficient and cinematically stultifying. I would gladly accept inferior real-time graphics if it meant the camera could fucking move and we weren't 20 pixels tall. Going back to Ocarina of Time, even just the opening scene of the drawbridge lowering and Ganondorf appearing gets several different camera angles, giving us multiple compositions to absorb and giving some intensity to the scene through editing. Now imagine this scene as a single, uninterrupted wide-angle shot from 100 feet away. It'd be boring as fuck!
Please, we're not here to fight. We need your help. You must forgive my grandson's somewhat impetuous introduction. He is eager and hot-headed. but no fool.
I like the word impetuous. It's not used nearly enough.
And why should we help you?
Because we have the same enemy?
Fuge has taken my wife on his galleon, and I intend to find her, with or without your help.
Bold words. Your confidence is admirable, if not a little naive.
I mean, what else would I do?
We have the same objectives, and we'll help you all we can.
Wow, it's almost like we could have led with that line, like, we have the same objectives, instead of doing this whole show of like, oh, we're gonna surround you with this ambush, and oh, why would we help you? I mean, obviously the Duke knew this, because obviously the Duke knows that, like, all the women have been captured, so he could just assume that's why we're here.
You'll discover that soon enough.
And again, we can't cut, so we have to watch everybody walk into position. Nothing's happening. Like, we didn't need to see that. And it was visually boring anyway, because it all plays out with us tiny on screen in these huge wide shots.
Some traitors, humble people whose wives, daughters, and sisters have been ripped away. Our plight has forced us together and compelled us to fight.
Thank you for recounting the plot to me, sir.
Feel free to look around.
Oh yes, I'm gonna look around your shitty little camp with your stick huts and... oh, hey, a torch. I need that.
You implied that you might know how to find the ship?
Why is all the dialogue to the right? You may have already noticed, if you're listening on playback hardware with proper imaging, that the dialogue is not panned to the right, but rather is correctly centered. This is because I corrected the offset in editing, and originally I was going to cut out any reference I made to this precisely because I simply corrected it. But it's actually a little more interesting than that, because what I hadn't yet noticed is that it's not just the dialogue that's panned slightly right. Absolutely all of the audio is panned right, and by the same amount, which is why it was so trivial to fix in editing. The delta was 2.5 dB, which is by no means huge, but is absolutely noticeable, which is obviously why I commented on it in the first place. The game is still in stereo, things do pan left and right based on screen position, but when things are supposed to be centered, like dialogue, they're not centered, but slightly right of center. What makes this interesting, though, is that I had assumed this was simply a consequence of the cheap HDMI adapter I was using, which I already mentioned tends to clip the audio and has a horrible buzz, so I was well aware it's cheap shite. But I checked the audio in silver with high-quality RCA cables, bypassing the adapter entirely, and the problem is still there, so it's not the cheap adapter. That led me to wonder if there was something wrong with the audio circuitry in my particular Dreamcast. After all, it is very old. Maybe aging capacitors or whatever have caused the audio to be unequal somehow. But it can't be that either, because other Dreamcast games have mono sounds correctly centered. But just to be certain, playing silver over RCA cables to avoid the cheap adapter, I changed the in-game setting to mono, and that did indeed result in all the sound being correctly centered. This couldn't happen if the offset was caused by a problem with the hardware. Even set to mono in software, the offset at the analog output would remain if that was the issue. And it doesn't. And to obliterate any possible doubt, I even checked the game on a completely different Dreamcast, and not only does the problem remain, but by exactly the same amount, 2.5 dB. Obviously, two different Dreamcasts being faulty by an identical amount is, by practical definition, impossible. So the only thing I can conclude there is that this is a software error in the actual programming of Silver itself. That they somehow shipped a game with the main output accidentally panned slightly right, which would be one of the more inexplicable bugs I've ever seen in a video game. I don't even know how that could happen, but I don't know what else could cause it. Notably, the delta is completely static. It doesn't come and go, nor does it fluctuate by even a small amount over time, or between different days that I recorded, which would again suggest that it's in the software, because only something purely digital could even be that stable. Yet another weird detail is that the opening video doesn't have this problem. The narration in that is correctly centered with no offset, which again proves that it's neither the adapter nor my Dreamcast hardware, even though I already ruled both of those out for other reasons. But if it is a software issue, this kind of makes sense, because that's just a video file being played. If the in-game offset is a software issue in the game engine, I can imagine that not necessarily affecting a video file being streamed off the disc. But regardless of how the hell it happened, I have removed the problem from the entire game, so know that it was there, and that it's an exceptionally weird problem for the game to have, but I fixed it, and I'm not going to mention it again for that reason. Also, this isn't related to the panning, but I don't know where else to mention it. Every single line of dialogue in this game ends with a waveform discontinuity thump, sometimes more audible than others, which could have been solved easily by simply applying fades to the edit points, which is standard practice anyway, for exactly this reason.
You waste a little time. That's good. There's a cave that leads to the Great Library at No. The library is reputed to house a very powerful telescope. This should show you where the galleon is headed.
Oh, we're just gonna physically look for it on the horizon? You know, no matter how powerful your telescope is, you can only see to the horizon. Because eventually the planet curves away from you, and no amount of magnification will let you see past the curve. And that happens not that far away. I mean, unless the telescope is really high up, then you can go a little farther, but...
No, we'll stay and plan our next...
Unless that's the slowest ship in history, it's probably already too far away to see. Okay.
Did Fuge take your wife?
Yes, he took everyone's.
Come here. We were due to be married until they stole her from me. I'll get her back, no matter what.
Why is your hair green?
I know you're thinking about Jennifer, but we will find her.
I know, that's the whole point of the game. Okay, these guys... violently murdering each other with swords, can't be talked to. Ooh, that guy can. Actually, I guess I didn't cycle through... Oh, he can be talked to. Okay, I keep forgetting I need to cycle it with R.
If you value your life, stand back.
Oh. Well, that was deeply enlightening.
It's called the Web of Death. It's quite difficult to master, but it's very effective.
Oh, did he just teach me a special move?
Incidentally, I'm John, and that's my brother Ben.
Listen, I know my expertise is intimidating, but you should try it.
Don't flatter yourself, bro. So do I just do it from this special menu? Yeah, special menu. Web of Death. I don't actually know how to do it. So X doesn't do anything. Y doesn't do anything. B just opens the menu. A attacks. So if I'm holding R, X still doesn't do anything, and Y still doesn't do anything. A would be attack, and B is shield, but I don't have one, so... Actually, if you tap B, it's a hop back. That's cool. So hold B is shield, tap B is backstep. But I have no idea how to pull off Web of Death. Maybe it only works if you're actually in combat. You just can't do it freely. I don't know. Hello, small person? Are you a child or a dwarf?
Training to fight Fuge on your own?
If I have to.
How old are you?
I'm guessing child.
Old enough to know when my mother needs me. My father and I are the only hope she has.
Fair enough. Probably just gonna get yourself horribly maimed, but sure, I admire your valiancy or whatever. Oh, Jesus. I could have done without the horrible eating noises there. And that's apparently all he has to say. So that is an exit up there, but I can't use it, apparently.
Tell us, is Haven really as secure as it appears to be?
Which is not at all. If this is Haven, it's just some stick huts on a cliff. Why would that be secure?
Wait! Although my father can hear you, he can't answer.
Oh, I was trying to figure out why it took so long.
He had my father's tongue ripped out, a warning to others who protested so loudly.
Jesus.
I'm sorry.
That's hardcore.
Don't be. He's just biding his time till he can settle the score.
Ooh.
I better get back.
It's pretty big talk there, but I hope you're right. So, did I actually pick up the torch? Yes, I did. So that presumably means we can now go into that cave. But first, I'm going to go over here and see if it's actually possible to go to the left where the Duke was. Well, apparently it is an exit. It's just not usable at the moment.
Said that the entrance to No was through the cave.
Yeah. Go the other way. I gotcha. Oh, it replaces my sword. Oh, I was hoping I held it in my offhand. Oh, and now I'm not even attacking with the torch. I punch and kick. I was hoping I could at least set things on fire with it. Why don't you just hold it in your offhand so you can still attack with a sword? This is madness.
Bet you didn't guess it was me. One time, I even made a man faint. He was big too.
He was just some fucking kid?
Why, you little...
Oops, better run.
Okay, you know what?
And don't worry, I won't tell anyone you were scared.
That... Oh!
Okay, you know what? I actually like that twist. I was expecting our first, like, effectively boss fight, so that it... that it's just some bitch-ass kid making noise. I'm not gonna lie, that was a legitimately effective twist. Yeah, see, I can't just hit start here, because I'm on A. It would be nice if just hitting start was a confirm, rather than having to scroll over and down, but yeah. Looks like I'm gonna have to do that every single time I save. I don't like that. That is inefficient. I should be able to just hit start. Or just only enter the name of the save file once. Normally you just pick your name up front and then the save file just stays that name. I guess it lets you describe where you are in the game. Like I could type in, you know, just entering cave. Although doing that with an analog stick would take forever. This game was released on PC. And that might be why, because on PC you could type in a description of what the save actually is. It'd be much faster on PC. And apparently the torch is just done. I guess we never need it again? Surely such a thing would be useful elsewhere, right?